906 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So happy to be with you today. We got a fantastic show lined up. It's going to be busy, man. Not only do we have to recap everything that happened over the weekend in the response to the Russia-United States summit, but we're also going to detail what's happening today. And on deck today, it's going to be even busier. We have European leaders coming to the White House. That's a big deal. We also have Vladimir Zelensky coming to the White House. That's a big deal. Donald Trump late last night on True Social. Big day at the White House tomorrow. Never had so many European leaders at one time. My great honor to host them. President DJT. To everybody that says nothing was accomplished over the weekend, how do they reckon that with the fact that all of these European leaders are coming to the White House today and Zelensky's coming to the White House today to talk? Does anybody? I mean, I've heard this all weekend long. Nothing happened. They left and nothing was done. Okay, how do you reconcile that with the fact that all of these individuals are coming to the White House today? You can't. You can't. And that's what's going down. Today, we have many European leaders that are going to be joining Zelensky in Washington for a sit-down with Trump. It's going to be European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. She's going to be there, as well as many other European leaders. We're talking Mark Rutte from the Secretary General of NATO. We're talking the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz. We're talking about the French president of the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. Italy's president is going to be there as well. This is going to be a big deal. And we're going to see it all kick off here this afternoon. I believe the meeting gets underway around 1 o'clock. There is a schedule floating out there somewhere where it's going to be about noon our time that these European leaders are really sitting down and chatting with President Trump at the White House. But we're going to have a very, very full day. Yeah, 1 o'clock, the president of Ukraine is going to arrive. About 1:15, there's going to be a bilateral meeting with the president of Ukraine inside the Oval Office. 2:15, the president's going to greet all these European world leaders coming in. Then there's going to be a photo op around 2:30 with the European leaders, and then a multilateral meeting with European leaders at 3 o'clock. Now, granted, all of those times are in Eastern, minus an hour. That's the rundown for what we're going to see. So about noon, we'll see Vladimir Zelensky show up. 12:15, they go for that meeting. Right around 2:30, we got European leaders in the building, and then they're going to have their multilateral meeting at 2 o'clock our time. So a lot to pay attention to today as the news cycle is going to move very, very fast. And the news cycle moved fast all weekend long. Now, the coverage over the weekend was not glowing at all. President Trump took to Truth Social to lambaste the coverage that the media has given the Russia summit, saying the fake news has been saying for 3 days that I suffered a major defeat by allowing President Vladimir Putin of Russia to have a major summit in the United States. Actually, he would have loved to do the meeting anywhere else but the U.S., and the fake news knows this. It was a major point of contention. If we had the summit elsewhere, the Democrat-run and controlled media would have said what a terrible thing that was. These people are sick. They even want crime in D.C. and other blue cities throughout our country, but don't worry, I won't let that happen, just like our now secure southern border. 0 illegals in the last 3 months. Our cities will be safe and secure, and D.C. will lead the way. He's talking about a lot of things there in one post. But the underlying message is the media wouldn't be happy no matter what happened on Friday. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't. They wouldn't be happy. They would call it a failure no matter what. Had Trump walked out with a ceasefire, they said there was no peace deal. If he walked out with a peace deal, they probably would have cried for what it's going to do to the military-industrial complex. But they said that Trump was weak. Weak. And I don't know about you, but everything I saw from the summit over the weekend looked like we positioned the United States from a position of strength. From how they walked in on the red carpet and Vladimir Putin had to stroll by all of our jets. He had to look at everything. Then, as they're walking up, they're walking this red carpet. The precision and timing to have our stealth fighters and bombers flying over the head of Vladimir Putin as they walk up. Did you see that? I mean, the video on its own is unbelievable. It leaves something to be imagined if you're listening to this on the radio. This is why you got to find us on YouTube and Rumble and hit like and subscribe, because we have the video elements for all the audio that you hear. But as Putin and Trump are walking up, the bombers fly overhead. Doesn't seem to be too fazed by it, truthfully. Trump seems very pleased with it. You can even see him clapping a little bit in the video. But the precision, the message being sent, the United States is not playing games. It was on full display. It was on full display. And then we get the actual summit where they didn't let the press ask questions, but that's by design. You don't want the media to hijack the narrative or to really mess up these negotiations by asking an outlandish question. So I understood that. But during the press conference, Trump is saying exactly what he's going to do. And then throughout the weekend, we saw that executed. One of the first things he said is that we had really great progress today, and I'm going to start making phone calls. That was one of Trump's first statements after the summit with the here's Dan Mandis. After the summit with you forgot your keys again. I did. Yeah. Dan can't leave. Dan can't leave without he forgets his keys all the time. So one of the first things that we get after the summit, as they give the press conference, is Donald Trump saying that we've made great progress and laying out the next steps that he's going to take.
Just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, whose faces, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon.
So he said that he was going to get on the phone immediately. So the meeting went good. Now, one of the things that we understand that President Trump said before the meeting was that he would know in the first 2 minutes whether it was going good or not. And he wasn't going to stick around if it wasn't going good. The meeting lasted 3 hours. I mean, you decide for yourself what that means. I tend to think that means the meeting went pretty good. It went pretty good. He said he's going to get on the phone with other world leaders. He did just that. He was on the phone the entire plane ride back with all of these world leaders. And now they're coming to the White House today. The media wants you to think that this is a failure. They do. They really want you to think that this is a failure. I don't know how you could classify it as such. I don't. It seems to me like it was a huge success. One of the things I didn't see the media reporting on too much over the weekend, though, was the fact that Vladimir Putin confirmed himself that if Trump were president in 2022, then the war would have never happened, which it's wild. Again, you didn't see any of this from ABC, CBS, or NBC over the weekend, but it was on full display at that press conference. Vladimir Putin confirming, yeah, I wouldn't have invaded had Donald Trump been president.
I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, businesslike, and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know. I'm very hopeful. You hear these statements, and it does seem like these two world leaders are getting along. It does seem like they have a good line of communication open. The meeting lasted 3 hours. Now we have world leaders here today from Europe. We have Zelensky in D.C. today. How could you look at this as anything other than a huge success? Now, Putin saying, if Trump had been president, I wouldn't have launched this invasion. That's a massive statement. Donald Trump has been saying this since he was back on the campaign trail. And it just, once again, Donald Trump was right. Trump actually, during his interview with Hannity, said that he has a similar deal with Xi Jinping, which I thought was interesting, and maybe you do as well, saying that Xi Jinping told him he won't invade Taiwan while Donald Trump is president, and made my ears perk up.
You know, you have a very similar thing with President Xi of China and Taiwan. But I don't believe there's any way it's going to happen as long as I'm here. We'll see. He told me, I will never do it as long as you're president. That's President Xi told me that. And I said, well, I appreciate that. But he also said, but I am very patient, and China is very patient. I said, well, that's up to you, but it better not happen now.
China's very patient. Man, we understand that all these commies are 100-year plans, not things done in 2 and 4 year cycles. But this is another reason why midterms and then the 2028 election are going to be so important, because we're going to need to really solidify the Trump policies and codify them into law. We've done a lot via executive order, but if we want this to last, we need to get it into law, and we need good, strong Republican leadership. We'll talk about the midterms on the way, the redistricting fight that is still going on, and the outlandish response from the governor of California. We'll talk about that as well. But there's so much to get to on the summit front in general. The media reaction from over the weekend has been a full-blown meltdown. Vladimir Putin does have some demands, but the demands haven't changed. They haven't. He's long wanted all of the Donbas region. He wants to have the land there that they're now controlling, and he said that that's the price of the peace agreement to end the war. I don't think that Ukraine has any footing in these negotiations, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to negotiate, it's just going to be a war of attrition. And then Russia has more manpower and more military might. They can just grind it out a little bit longer. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Mike in Nashville wants to weigh in. What's up, Mike? Yo, Mike, what's up?
Okay, yeah, how you doing, Chris? Yeah, I appreciate you getting me on. Hey, listen, man, here's how this meeting should transpire today with Zelensky. First of all, not that it really matters. You know, I've talked to you in the past about this. Not that it really matters, but this is a very crucial issue if they want to get this thing over. Zelensky, hopefully he'll show up to the White House dressed appropriately today. If you want to be treated like a president, you have to look like a president. That's part of the reason why Vladimir Putin doesn't respect this man, because the guy shows up in a military outfit, you know, to beg money for Joe Biden, and then he showed up to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump commented on his attire last time. So I don't know what he's going to be dressed like today.
I've heard rumors, Mike, that he will be wearing a suit of some sort.
Well, that's what he needs to do. Like I'm going to repeat myself one more time. If you want to be treated like a president, you need to dress like and act like a president. That's the only way you're going to get respect. You don't get respect by walking into the White House with military boots on and a military look like you just came off the combat field. You are a president of Ukraine, and you need to look like it. Now, let's move on to this next deal. Okay, here's how Donald Trump needs to put it to Mr. Zelensky today. Okay, Donald Trump, like he said before, he repeated it several times, this is not his war. This is Joe Biden's war, and Vladimir Putin just said that, just like you just said. Vladimir, you and I both know that if good old Joe Biden went in the White House, Putin wouldn't have went in to Ukraine. Because and the reason why I know that's true is because he had 4 years to do it when Trump was in the White House the first time, and he didn't do it. So that's your answer right there for those people who say, "Well, how do you know that?" That's how I know that. Okay, now
he took land under Obama, took 4 years off, and he took land under Biden. Weird.
Yeah, so that's your answer right there. Okay, now the next deal. Here's how you know that what Donald Trump needs to tell this guy today. Donald Trump has done everything he can. He flew Putin in from Russia on Friday, sat down a 2 or 3 hour summit trying to work out a deal. Donald Trump has done all he can. See, Donald Trump doesn't even have to do this because, like I say, it's not his war. He's trying to be a peacemaker. He's trying to end this thing, to end the death and the toll. Both countries are losing a lot of lives. Zelensky needs to sit down today and go ahead and sign the paperwork. And if it's not to his liking, maybe they can make some adjustments. But if he wants to win in the war like he says he does, because he's not going to win this war. It's as simple as that. Unless he has help from the United States and the NATO and other people, he's going to eventually lose the war because he's outpowered. And eventually, Putin's going to get tired of playing games with him and use some nuclear weapons, I believe. And then that's when it's going to really be all over. So Donald Trump needs to sit him down today and say, listen, I've done everything I can to help you. We're giving your country billions of dollars. We're giving you military equipment. We're giving you advice. This is the second time you came to the White House. You need to sign the paperwork today, and so we can end this war and we can end the death and the shooting. If you refuse to sign the paperwork today, I'm throwing my hands up. I'm through with you. You on your own. You can work with the Europeans or whoever's helping you out at this point. And because I've done all I can do, and if you want to continue to fight with Vladimir Putin in a war that you'll never win, then you're on your own, and that's simple. And the meeting should be over after that. Because we've done more than enough to help Ukraine. We've done more than we should have done to begin with. It's up to that man today. Donald Trump can't sign the paperwork to end this war. Zelensky is the president. It's up to that man. If he wants to end the death and the toll like he says he does, he needs to do the right thing
with you,
today
Mike. Yeah.
And sign the paperwork to end the whole thing. And
I'm with you, Mike, and I appreciate the call as always. We'll see what happens. Again, that meeting is going to be taking place at 12 o'clock our time. The president of Ukraine is going to be arriving at the White House about 1:15 Eastern, 12:15 our time. They're really going to kick things off at that meeting. And then the European leaders are going to be arriving at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 our time. And then they'll be having a multilateral meeting at 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be paying attention to this all day long right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You want to weigh in? You are more than welcome to 615-737-9986. That's the number for the text line and the phone lines. You're also welcome to jump inside the YouTube chat. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. We got a lot more to cover. It's 9:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They didn't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went loud when they said they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese out. Food stamps is boring right now.
President Trump going after mail-in balloting. Also, a local school system shuts its doors for the day. Now we know why. All of that and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. You can watch the show anywhere. We're on YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Appreciate you guys joining us on the video side of things. Appreciate you guys on the radio side of things as well. On the way, what exactly is Putin demanding? What's been the mainstream media reaction to the summit? Marco Rubio was on a lot of news shows over the weekend, and he shut down a lot of talking heads. We'll bring you all the relevant audio. We'll break you down what exactly the demands are and what Zelensky's reactions to the demands are when we return. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And when President Trump and Ukraine's President Zelensky sit down at the White House today, territory is going to be a big issue at the negotiating table. ABC News contributor Colonel Steve Ganyard on what Russian President Vladimir Putin says that he wants.
In Anchorage, the demand from Putin was the rest of Donetsk. That is an area about the size of Delaware. It's very rich in minerals and agriculture. It's a strong industrial area. So that is what he sees as his consolation prize. But Zelensky has already said that he's not going to give it up, which suggests that negotiations in this war will continue to go on for a long time to come.
Now, yesterday, President Trump explicitly said that Ukraine will not regain Crimea and that Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO. President Trump wrote in a post to his social media platform that he's going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in balloting and controversial voting machines, too. The president said that he'll begin that effort by signing an executive order ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. President Trump has doubted the veracity of mail-in voting, claiming that mail-in voting contributed to his 2020 election loss. Well, we know now why Perry County schools were closed today. Channel 4's Amanda Harris says there was a threat made online in a suicide chat room.
So someone posted in the group saying they were bullied, had a gun, planned to end it all, and threatened Perry County schools. The person didn't specify a specific school, but the district decided to close all of them out of precaution.
Now, Perry County schools say that they'll make a decision about tomorrow later on today. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Should kids be on this platform, period?
No, it's not worth it. It's only going to create headaches for you.
Roblox itself, it is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids.
It's basically open season for sex predators on this app. For this reason and all of the others that we've talked about today, Roblox is violating Louisiana law.
If you join it, you're going to see predators, you're going to see naked avatars, you're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this.
Because there is so much content and it's so difficult to monitor, and there's, 40% of their users are under the age of 13. Of course, it's a place where predators have learned how to network and gather and groom children.
937 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Appreciate you watching or listening to the show, however you may be doing it. Maybe you're on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, or the classic FM dial. Nice. Maybe you're watching us on Super Talk TV, on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, but our personal favorites, YouTube and Rumble. If you're over there, hit like and subscribe. Share the show. Every online platform has a share button, so share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. Let's help grow the digital footprint of the radio station so that way we can hit more people with the truth. Some of these people really need some truth hit. They need it.
Just a little bit.
They need it. They need it. Sally said, thank you for explaining time zones on the text line. Tell you what. There is nothing harder for me to wrap my head around than like a 1 hour time difference.
It changes everything.
It messes with me, and it will continue to mess with me all day. As I reference the meeting, I'll be like, that's at 2. No, sorry, that's at 3. What time is it here?
Is it an hour forward or behind us? Wait, are they lined up?
Oh my gosh, you should have seen. So when I worked for Turning Point, where we were still doing a lot with those guys.
Oh man.
Half of the year in Phoenix, it's a 2 hour time difference. And then the other half of the year, it's a 1 hour time difference.
Yeah, because they don't do daylight savings at all over there.
I never knew what time it was.
Understandably so.
Like, what time is this for you? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Where am I?
Like, it's awful. Like, what? Are you guys in the future or are you in the past? I don't know.
I don't like it either way.
I don't like it. I'm not a huge fan. I got another text here. Jeremiah. He said, Trump crumbled like he always does for Putin. And the reason everyone's coming to the White House today is because Trump folded so easy that it scared them. So I responded with just what I felt was a reasonable response. I said, what are you talking about, LOL? I don't know what else to respond to that. What else do you respond to that?
I have no answers.
Donald Trump leaves the summit after a 3-hour meeting. He's on the phone the entire plane ride home. And you think that world leaders are flying in because they're scared? I don't see that at all. Not one bit. People are mad, though. People are mad. Oh, you rolled out the red carpet for Trump. That's what we got over the weekend. Marco Rubio was on ABC. He was on just about every network that would have him, Marco Rubio. He went on Fox. He went on ABC. He went on CBS. But on ABC, they're like, you rolled out the red carpet for Putin. You rolled out the red carpet for him. Explain that. And it's like, are you serious? Are we really doing this? And it's like, yes, this is ABC. We're really doing this.
Critics of President Trump will say the pomp and circumstance, the red carpet, the warm handshake, that President Trump simply lost that Putin gained there just by being on the world stage and walking down a red carpet with the president.
Your reaction. Well, how about this? All of the different world leaders that have met with Putin and smiled and shook hands. It happens. Bush had nice things to say about Putin. Clinton had nice things to say about Putin. Remember the reset button with the big smiles? Like, oh, how could you do this? The pomp and circumstance.
Reaction to that?
Well, I mean, critics of President Trump are always going to find something to criticize. You don't even pay attention to it anymore. But I will tell you this. Putin is already on the world stage. He's already on the world stage. The guy's conducting a full-scale war in Ukraine. He's already on the world stage. He has the world's largest tactical nuclear arsenal in the world and the second largest strategic nuclear arsenal in the world. He's already on the world stage. When I hear people say that, oh, it elevates him, well, all we do is talk about Putin all the time. All the media's done is talk about Putin all the time for the last 4 or 5 years. That doesn't mean he's right about the war. That doesn't mean he's justified about the war. Put all that aside. It means you're not going to have a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. You're not going to end a war between Russia and Ukraine without dealing with Putin. That's just common sense. I shouldn't even have to say it. So people can say whatever they want. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to get the Russian side to agree to things that they don't want to agree to if we're going to have peace. If not, there'll just be a war. They'll keep killing each other. And life will go on in America and in the rest of the world, but not for Ukraine. So the president has invested a lot of time in trying to bring an end to this war. He deserves credit for doing that. He gets criticism for doing that. He could have just let this war go on. The president could have just said, this is Biden's war. It started under him. We'll do what we can for Ukraine, but we're going to focus on other things. He could have easily said that. But he's the only leader in the world that can get Putin to a meeting to talk about serious things.
Yep. He gets Putin to Alaska to talk about peace. He's the only one that can do that. The media will yell and scream. But all the pomp and circumstance, you rolled out the red carpet for him. It's like, okay, if we didn't want to help negotiate peace and we just let this sit, Russia takes everything. Is that what we're going to do? As of right now, Putin has reportedly made ownership of the contested Donbas region of eastern Ukraine the price for the peace agreement to end the war. This is what Breitbart's reporting, according to multiple media reports. During his Alaska meeting with Donald Trump, Putin is said to have relayed that Moscow will be willing to end the war if Kyiv relinquishes the eastern territory comprised of the Donetsk and the Luhansk oblasts. The Russian leader also reportedly offered to freeze the current battle lines in the other Ukrainian provinces. In exchange, according to the New York Times, Putin offered to pen a written pledge never to attack Ukraine or any other things in Europe. Also, Russia currently controls the vast majority of the Donbas region. Ukrainian forces have managed to maintain a heavily fortified area of control, meaning that should the deal be accepted, Kyiv's forces would have to retreat from those territories. The Times of London reported that Putin told Trump that the Ukrainian line in the Donbas region is on the verge of collapse anyway, and that Russia would soon take over the entire mineral-rich region. Ukrainian President Zelensky reportedly denied that his forces were on the back foot and has consistently rejected the idea of handing over control of the Donbas region to Russia officially, a move which is currently prohibited by the Ukrainian constitution. We hear that a lot. Oh, we can't do it. We can't do it unless everybody votes for it. It's funny that you should note Zelensky had that added in. Yeah, Zelensky had that added in. Now, those are Putin's demands, and they're saying all that we're getting from Putin is demands. He didn't make any concessions at all, and it's like, not so fast. There are some concessions that Putin is willing to make. This coming from Steve Witkoff, who also was taking the tours around over the weekend on all the media channels. Steve Witkoff is our special envoy, and he's the big guy in charge of these peace negotiations, especially when it comes to the Middle East. But to everybody that says Putin didn't concede anything, Steve Witkoff says not so fast.
We agreed to robust security guarantees that I would describe as game-changing. We didn't think that we were anywhere close to agreeing to Article 5 protection from the United States, in legislative enshrinement within the Russian Federation, not to go after any other territory when the peace deal is codified, legislative enshrinement in the Russian Federation, not to go after any other European countries and violate their sovereignty. So we agreed to there was plenty more.
So there were some concessions. Special U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff saying that Vladimir Putin did agree at the summit with President Trump to allow the U.S. and European allies to offer Ukraine a security guarantee resembling what NATO's collective defense mandate looks like as part of an eventual deal to end this 3.5-year conflict. Breitbart has the story. Putin agreed to let U.S., Europe offer NATO-style security protections for Ukraine, Trump envoy says, according to the Associated Press. New York, this reports from the AP. Special envoy Steve Witkoff said Sunday that the Russian leader Vladimir Putin agreed at his summit with the president to allow U.S. and European allies to offer Ukraine a security guarantee resembling NATO's collective defense mandate as part of an eventual deal. We were able to win the following concession. The United States could offer Article 5-like protection, which is one of the real reasons Ukraine wants to be in NATO. He said that on State of the Union. He added that it was the first time that we had ever heard the Russians agree to that. So to everybody saying that Trump folded, there's no concessions from Russia, it's absolutely false. Let's go to Larry in Clarksville. What's up, Larry? How we doing, man?
How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Well, Canada has like 5 time zones, so I understand why you guys, have trouble with it.
Yes, time zones are hard. Time zones are hard.
But I agree with you. I think Trump made huge progress, but where I do disagree with you is the video that I saw of them on the tarmac and the B-52s coming over was the look on Putin's face like this guy is serious.
Okay, so you do think that shook Putin a little bit. See, I have a hard time believing that Putin gets shook as like a former KGB guy, and with all the life experience that guy has. I have a hard time believing that he got shook by that.
Well, yeah, but I also believe what he saw, what happened in Iran, would know what could happen to Moscow. You know, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Putin. He is a bad actor.
Yep.
He's always been a bad actor. But the timing of those birds flying over.
Oh, it was precise. I mean, you're talking about a 10-second window to get that right?
Yes, yes.
It's unbelievable.
I have those missions, and I know what goes into making those missions happen. And I'm just saying, the look that I saw on Putin's face was, this guy is serious. So I'm gonna have to make some concessions.
Yeah. Hey man, I hear you, and I'm glad to hear from you too, Larry. I hope you're feeling better, man. We're still praying for you to get back up on your feet real quick, and thank you for the call.
I love you, man. Love the show.
Hey, love you back, brother. Appreciate it. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Marco Rubio says the deal that we're going to be making, it's got to leave both sides unhappy. You know, this is what we're working for, and a good deal. Well, nobody's going to be 100% happy. That's it. Each side has to give something, and you're seeing that Russia has some demands. We need that Donbass region, but they're also conceding to some NATO-style protections for Ukraine. Marco Rubio.
Well, that's what these negotiations are about. And as you can imagine, everybody goes into a negotiation wanting 100% of what they want. That includes Ukraine, but obviously the Russians. And the only way to reach a deal on anything, whether it's in business or in politics or in geopolitics, the only way to reach a deal is for each side to get something and each side to give something. Yep. And that's been very difficult. If it was easy, this wouldn't have been going on for 3.5 years. Understand, the longer these wars go on, the harder they are to end, unfortunately, because one side is always looking for leverage on the other, in this particular case, the Russian side as well. And so I think that's the core of what we're trying to work through here. That's why Zelensky's coming tomorrow. That's why European leaders are coming tomorrow. That's why the president called them from the airplane, spent 2 hours in the middle of the night talking to them. And that's why we've been engaged with them every step of the way, is we are trying to find what can we get to that both sides can agree on. And it's been difficult. This is a hard issue set, but we're dedicating a lot of time to it, and the president deserves credit for dedicating time to it.
Amen. And more time is going to be dedicated to it today. Again, we have a huge schedule on deck for the White House. Zelensky arriving around 12 o'clock our time. Then we're going to have European leaders arriving after a private Trump-Zelensky meeting. And they're going to sit down for a meeting at about 2 o'clock our time. All the European leaders with Zelensky and President Trump. Today's a big day. We'll see what comes out of it. But Trump said, and he said this during his interview with Hannity, immediately following that peace summit. He said, at this point, the ball is going to be in Zelensky's court. They've done a lot. You heard Rubio. Trump has done more than anybody to end this conflict. And at this current state, well, now the ball is in Zelensky's court.
We were together almost 3 hours, and it was very extensive. And we agreed on a lot of points. I mean, a lot of points were agreed on. But there's not that much. There's, one or two pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done. And I would also say the European nations, they have to get involved a little bit. But it's up to President Zelensky. I think we are, and if they'd like, I'll be at that next meeting. They're going to set up a meeting now between President Zelensky and President Putin. And myself, I guess, I didn't ask you about it. Not that I want to be there, but I want to make sure it gets done. And we have a pretty good chance of getting it done.
Pretty good chance of getting it done. Two big things on the table, and I don't know, maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I think he's alluding to, will Zelensky say you can have the Donbass region? And will Putin be okay with the NATO-style protections? We'll see what happens. A lot is going to go down today. We'll have it for you right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This is where he talks about you.
Talks about me?
Yeah. Aside from Hand, most of you are clearly intelligent, based in the real world type of people. He seems to be longing for a handmaiden type society. I predict he will be an extreme short timer.
Weird.
What are you at now? A couple years?
Yeah.
Again, didn't age well.
I love how he said, you guys are smart aside from Hand.
I know.
That's my favorite part.
A near accident at Nashville's airport, and Hurricane Erin intensifies. We'll tell you where it's headed. That's coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It's 9:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So MSNBC, they're getting a new name. Have you heard this?
I have.
They're keeping the MS part, but they're getting rid of the NBC.
Yeah, but now it stands for something different. And they've hired all new people.
It's going to be MS Now.
Yeah.
Which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, in the World.
Uh-oh.
It's pretty cheesy.
Maybe MS later.
You said that they were going to get new people? Is that what you said? New people?
They've hired a bunch of people, about 40 journalists from CNN, from Bloomberg, from all these other places.
So they're hiring new people, but it's really the same old people.
Same old thing.
I mean, I heard a clip over the weekend. They had Gary Kasparov on. He was an MSNBC guest. He was one of the contributors in a segment.
Yeah.
And he said, this is crazy. He said that the Trump-Putin summit, optics-wise, was worse than Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Listen to this.
I don't.
Just listen.
Okay.
One, all Trump wanted is a ceasefire, and Putin showed him middle finger. It was predictable disaster, and whatever Trump says now, he can't hide it. Amazingly, he now agrees with Putin, and he repeats this nonsense that the peace deal is better than a ceasefire. If you are serious about peace, you start with a ceasefire. Everyone knows that. And now Trump will try to put the blame on anyone, on Zelensky, on Europeans, or Democrats, on Biden, again, avoiding responsibility for the disaster that was self-made. I believe that the humiliation for the United States, the loss of credibility and reputation yesterday in Alaska was much worse than the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oh,
no one died.
That's a hot take, isn't it?
Is this the chess player, Gary Kasparov?
I believe so.
Okay.
Aren't chess players supposed to be smart?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Every rule has an
Reportedly.
exception, right?
Yes.
Joan Jones is on deck. She's got the latest headlines. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk. Hey, real quick, though, that was one crazy lunatic on MSNBC. There are people on MSNBC making sense. Wait until you hear what Morning Joe said. I'll play that for you after the headlines with Joan Jones, which starts right now on Super Talk.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, it appears that at least some Democrat lawmakers have now returned to Texas after that 2-week absence that temporarily blocked Republican leaders from enacting their redistricting plans.
If enough Democrats are present for today's special session, Republicans in Texas can move forward with plans to redraw state congressional maps. It can help meet President Trump's target of flipping 5 congressional seats in next year's midterm. But California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom says if Texas goes through with this plan, he'll introduce his own plan in majority Democratic California to flip 5 of 9 remaining Republican seats in favor of Democrats. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Now, the Democrats were fined $500 a day for each day they were absent. There were 48 others who are still hiding out in other states, and they may return today as well. The NTSB investigating after a plane landed short of the runway at Nashville International Airport. WSMB4's Amanda Hara tells us this happened on Thursday.
Investigators say no one on the Air Canada flight was hurt, and there was no damage to the plane. Right now, the cause of that flight landing short of the runway is now under investigation.
Now, the day before the landing, the union representing flight attendants went on strike there at Air Canada. Flights continued to operate, though, under a reduced number of flights. A gruesome stabbing in South Nashville. Metro Nashville police saying that a victim was stabbed so many times that they haven't been able to identify him. 61-year-old Timothy Scarborough admits that he and that victim were drinking and doing drugs, but he denies killing the man. He's in jail, though, on $200,000 bond. A business expansion in Rutherford County. Barrett Rifles is expanding operations along Manchester Pike in Murfreesboro and hiring an additional 200 employees. The news earned a congratulations from Governor Bill Lee on X. And Hurricane Erin intensifying overnight, powerful winds, heavy rain battering Puerto Rico. Authorities are warning swimmers along the entire East Coast to be cautious because of rough rip currents.
What we anticipate is big-time waves. Waves, we're talking 8 to 12 feet all along the coast, not just in South and North Carolina, but up through Long Island, New Jersey, but also those rip currents. On top of it all, I can't emphasize enough overwash in the Outer Banks or that erosion, also an issue.
That's ABC meteorologist Ginger Z. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
But a lot of these protesters are paid. There's a story, Crowds on Demand CEO, 400% increase, surge for requests for paid protesters.
Yep.
Protester requests have increased 400% since President Trump announced the federal takeover of D.C.'s police department.
No, none of this. I mean, we've seen this time and time again, where they've got all of these different protests, and it goes on. Where it feels like it's every couple of weeks they've got another protest going on.
It is time to unite, not to fight each other the way they want us to do.
And they keep offering, looking for people to protest. And I don't think there's this groundswell of anger that they're trying to convince the American people that there is.
.06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Anybody else Google Barrett rifles during Jones' newscast? I did. I did. They look nice. And they're in the burrow.
Ooh.
Might have to get one of those.
We might have to go for a visit.
We should do a field trip, Joan.
Oh, yeah.
Field trip.
I like it.
All right, perfect. A lot of people on the internet and on the text line are saying, "Oh my gosh, these leftists, they only agree that the Afghanistan withdrawal was botched when they try to bludgeon Trump with it." Yeah, referring to this MSN Now clip. Is it MSNBC still, or is it MSN Now?
I don't think they've made the swap, so it'll be MSN later.
A couple texters thought that they were going to change the name to MS-13.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. It's in line.
Did you hear this? This is Gary Kasparov on MSNBC yesterday.
All Trump wanted is a ceasefire, and Putin showed him middle finger. It was predictable disaster, and whatever Trump says now, he can't hide it. Amazingly, he now agrees with Putin, and he repeats this nonsense that the peace deal is better than a ceasefire. If you are serious about peace, you start with a ceasefire. Everybody knows that. And now Trump will try to put the blame on anyone, on Zelensky, on Europeans, or Democrats, on Biden, again, avoiding responsibility for the disaster that was self-made. I believe that the humiliation for the United States, the loss of credibility and reputation yesterday in Alaska was much worse than the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oh, good. That's Gary Kasparov. He is a Russian chess master. I would say stick to chess because you sound stupid. sound like an idiot. Sounds very, very dumb. You don't expect much coming out of MSNBC these days, though. And you expect those kind of wild, hot takes that they're going to say something outlandish to try and demean the president and demean these peace efforts. I guess this Russian grand chess player would rather, I don't know, let the dying continue, let Russian soldiers continue to be killed, let Ukrainian soldiers continue to be killed. That's clearly more preferential to him.
Yeah, I wonder if he has a checkered past.
Probably.
Sorry, I saw the opportunity.
It's pretty good.
Thanks.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not all MSNBC is acting completely unhinged. I know. This was posted earlier this morning by Vigilant Fox on X, saying Joe Scarborough just dropped a truth bomb about ending the war in Ukraine that the media will hate, and he calls out leftist media directly.
By the way, let's underline two things here. Just again, to set expectations, to be realistic. Even during the Biden administration, every Biden official, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, says they're going to have to give a plan. They're not going to like giving a plan, but they're going to have to give a plan, number one. Number two, they're not going to become members of NATO. There may have been people writing articles in the Wall Street Journal or elsewhere saying they have to be members of NATO, but you go around to every European leader, that was never going to happen. But there was an idea of a quasi-NATO type guarantee, and they need that guarantee. And if they get that guarantee, if they have the guarantee that Putin's not going to reload and then come back in, that would be considered, I think, at the end, a win for Ukraine, would it not?
Yeah, no, it would be. It should be. Now, I will disagree with Joe Scarborough a little bit. He said nobody was saying that Ukraine was going to join NATO. And I'm reminded of July 2023 when President Biden said Ukraine is going to join NATO.
So that it's not about whether or not they should or shouldn't join. It's about when they can join, and they will join NATO. The issue of whether or not this is going to keep Putin from continuing to fight, the answer is Putin's already lost the war. Putin has a real problem. How does he move from here? What does he do? And so the idea that there's going to be what vehicle is used, he could end the war tomorrow. He could just say, I'm out. But what agreement is ultimately reached depends upon Putin and what he decides to do. But there is no possibility of him winning the war in Ukraine. He's already lost that war. Imagine anyway, he's already lost that war.
It'd be fun to point out how many things Joe Biden got wrong in that one clip that's less than a minute long. But it's just to highlight the fact that the only reason I played is to highlight the fact that many people have been calling for Ukraine to join NATO. That is an absolute deal breaker. That's where a lot of this began with Russia and Ukraine. It's not going to happen. President Trump is going to do his best to bring peace. He's going to do his best to make sure that we can get an agreement where both sides are a bit unhappy. And I think that's the best we can hope for. That angers a lot of people on the left because he's bringing people to the table to negotiate. And they want to have the narrative that Donald Trump he's not able to do that. Nobody can do it. Nobody can talk to Putin. But we're seeing that is not the case. The media is mad that they didn't get out there and blast Putin. Secretary Rubio was on a bunch of TV shows over the weekend, and he was on ABC. And they said, he laid it out. He's like, do you want me to go out there and wag my finger at Putin and talk about all the evil things he's done? Do you think that that's an effective way to negotiate? And the answer is no, it's absolutely not an effective way to negotiate. And the Trump administration is not playing those games.
Can you name any concessions that Vladimir Putin made during this meeting? Have any
I wouldn't name him on your program.
Have any concessions
I wouldn't name
been
him
asked?
on your program. Why would I do that?
Where is the pressure?
Of course, because you can't have a peace agreement. No, you can't have a peace agreement unless both sides give and get. You can't have a peace agreement unless both sides make concessions. That's a fact. That's true in virtually any negotiation. If not, it's just called surrender. And neither side is going to surrender. So both sides are going to have to make concessions. So, of course, concessions were asked. But what utility would there be of me going on a program and tell you we've wagged our finger at Putin and told him you must do this and you must do that? It's only going to make it harder and less likely that they're going to agree to these things. So these negotiations, as much as everyone would love it to be a live pay-per-view event, these discussions only work best when they are conducted privately in serious negotiations in which people who have to go back and respond to constituencies, because even totalitarian governments have constituencies they have to respond to, people have to go back and defend these agreements that they make, and figure out a way to explain them to people. So we need to create space for concessions to be made. But of course concessions were asked.
Of course concessions were asked. I love what utility would there be of me going on a program and telling you we wagged our finger at Putin? Like, what good is going to come of that in any negotiating sense? Oh, we really gave it to them. And then they go home, they hear the reports, and they go, screw those guys. Like, yeah, it's never going to happen. But you're going to have these closed-door meetings. And if you want to look at the success, or was there success or not from the Trump-Putin summit, I would just point to what's happening today at the White House. Zelensky is coming here. Basically, every leader that matters in Europe is coming here. And they're going to sit down. They're going to have more conversations. I think it's a good sign. I really do. And the way to end the conflict, Rubio says, is through a full peace deal. There's no doubt about that. And he did reiterate the fact that they're not aiming for a ceasefire. They're aiming for a long-standing peace deal. And that's the key difference. This is Marco Rubio again. Over the weekend, this is on Meet the Press.
Is a ceasefire now off the table, Mr. Secretary?
No, it's not off the table. I think what the president said, in fact, you just read it on the air a few moments ago, it was agreed to by all that the best way to end this conflict is through a full peace deal. There's no doubt about that. I mean, who would be against the fact if tomorrow we came to you and said we have a full peace deal and it's done? I think that's the best way to end the war. Now, whether there needs to be a ceasefire on the way there, well, we've advocated for that. Unfortunately, the Russians, as of now, have not agreed to that. But the ideal here, what we're aiming for here is not a ceasefire. What we ultimately are aiming for is an end to this war.
Yeah, that's what we want. And listen, we don't have to be in the middle of this. Donald Trump doesn't have to negotiate in the middle of this. Donald Trump doesn't have to sell weapons to Ukraine. We could wash our hands of all of this. But at the end of the day, Trump doesn't want the killing to continue. Trump doesn't want people to continue dying on this meat grinder of a front line that's been at a stalemate for how long? But it's not our war, and Rubio makes that point. At the end of the day, this isn't our war. It's not our war, and it's not going to be our war.
Well, first of all, the Russians are already facing very severe consequences. There's not a single sanction that's been lifted. And not one. I mean, they're facing all the same sanctions that have been in place today. All the American support continues for Ukraine. And ultimately, look, if we're not going to be able to reach an agreement here at any point, then there are going to be consequences. Not only the consequences of the war continuing, but the consequences of all those sanctions continuing and potentially new sanctions on top of it as well. But what we're trying to do right now is end the war. And in order to end the war, you've got to give every opportunity that exists. You have to be open to any opportunity that exists to bring it about. And here's the thing to remind everybody, and when the president says this is not our war, but let's be frank, this is not our war. The United States is not in a war. Ukraine is in a war, and we've been supporting Ukraine. We happen to be in the role of the only country in the world, with the only leader in the world, that can actually bring Putin to a table to even discuss these things. Now, the president has traveled, all the way to Alaska, all the way back, has dedicated months and months of work, him, our entire team on this matter, because we want to see an end to the war. But if tomorrow the war continues, life in America will not be fundamentally altered. So I think that what we have to understand is that this has been a priority for this president because he wants to promote peace. He wants to promote the end of a war. And I think we should be happy that we have a president that's trying to promote peace and bring a war to an end.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that? 615-737-9986. When you look at what was going on under Joe Biden, we were viewing Ukraine-Russia as a proxy war, where Ukraine was the proxy for the U.S. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. It doesn't. Ukraine is now fighting its own battle. And the only way it's going to end is if the Russians agree to a deal, is if the Ukrainians agree to a deal. And Rubio made that point yesterday. That's it. We can give them more bombs. We can give them more munitions. We can give them more training. The only way to end this war is for the Ukrainians and the Russians to reach a peace deal. And the only person trying to make that happen is Donald Trump.
Again, every single sanction that was in place on the day he took over remained. And the impact of all those sanctions remain. You know, when the Russians landed in Alaska, they were there to refuel. They had to offer to pay in cash to refuel their airplanes because they can't use our banking system. They face consequences every single day. But the bottom line is that has not altered the direction of this war. That doesn't mean those sanctions are inappropriate. It means it hasn't altered the outcome of it. And here's what we do think is important, and that is that we end this war. To end this war, you have to be able to engage with the Russians. As much as people may not like it, as distasteful as people may find it, the only way to end this war is to get the Russians to agree, as well as the Ukrainians, but the Russians to agree to a peace deal. And the minute you issue new sanctions, your ability to get them to the table, our ability to get them to the table, will be severely diminished. That moment may arrive, but when it comes, what you're basically signaling is there is no opportunity for peace at this point. So just let's put on more sanctions and allow more people to get bombed and more people to be killed, and that's what we're trying to stop.
Yeah, we got to stop the killing. But I will point out that among Trump's delegation with them as they're going to negotiate with the Russians is Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent, the financial arm of the Trump administration. The guys who are going to levy those sanctions are in attendance. That's not by mistake. That's not by accident. It's by design. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Brian in Brentwood. What's up, Brian?
Hey, bro. I'm just in Brentwood because U-Haul took me there today. I'm going to call you out. You want it at the first or you want it at the end?
Yeah, give it to me first.
I'll give it to you first, bro. You didn't even know Barrett Manufacturing was in Murfreesboro.
I had no idea.
They're the maker of the 50 caliber, which is a bad arse gun.
I had
that probably could have shot you from where they are. Because if you read about it, it's a bad arse gun. Anyway,
I had no idea. And
I know a gun guy that don't know, but you only know Glocks because they pay you better. You need to call Barrett and say, hey, I'm from the borough. Sign me up.
I love my guys at the Glock store. Keep going. What do you got?
I know you do. And I love them too. It seems to me that just like everything else Trump's done, he's playing with stupid people. He has to summon these guys today. Nobody's using the word summon, the European leaders, but that's what he did. He called over there and he said, get your arses to Washington. And Zelensky, you better wear a suit and tie, which I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah, we're all going to find that out together. I'm looking forward to see what he's wearing.
The problem with the left is they don't understand that Trump runs the show. He's the guy that runs the show now. They had an incompetent in there for 4 years that I think should be brought up on charges of treason. And he's trying to stop the killing. He's trying to add law and order back to our society. And my wife asks me all the time, who is not political at all, who can be against that?
Honestly.
Stand up, because we want to know who you are.
Yep.
That's all I got, bro.
Hey,
Have
man,
a good day.
I appreciate the call, Brian. Thanks so much. 615-737-9986. We'll take more of your calls on the way. Plus, Marco Rubio did get into a heated debate with CBS's Margaret Brannon. She said CBS is saying that the EU leaders are only coming today to make sure Zelensky doesn't get bullied. That's interesting. Do you think that would even affect it? I feel like Trump would just bully everybody. If he was in a bullying mood, he would bully all of them together. But this is CBS's take. It was actually brought to Rubio. Rubio responded, and I'll bring you that response, plus the hot take. European leaders are only coming so Zelensky doesn't get bullied. Okay, yeah. I tend to agree more with Brian. They were summoned. That's why they're here. Donald Trump said, come, and they said, yes, sir. What time would you like us there? I think that's how it went down. We'll talk about it on the way. 1022, it's Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
This is massive. This is Armenia and Azerbaijan. This is nearly 4 decades of fighting in the region. Both leaders of each nation are coming here to the White House.
For more than 35 years, Armenia and Azerbaijan have fought a bitter conflict that resulted in tremendous suffering for both nations. They suffered gravely for so many years. Many tried to find a resolution, including the European Union. The Russians worked very hard on it, never happened. Sleepy Joe Biden tried, but you know what happened there? He tried for probably 12 minutes and didn't work out.
Have you seen this done with any other president, the way he's leveraging the economy and trade?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is 7 peace deals in 7 months, and it's unbelievable. I mean, President Trump is the only guy who can come together and do it. He can do it right.
A near accident at Nashville's airport, and Hurricane Erin intensifies. We'll tell you where it's headed. That's coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
1026, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Sorry, we were telling the story off air, and I got caught out in the hallway. Because my friend Ashlyn Allen, who does Vine and Branch, she makes these charcuterie boards. She goes to church with us. So I brought one to Ken, and then I was telling him, it's a church friend, and our kids are friends, and all this. And then Joan said, "Did you see what happened to my husband at church over the weekend?" I did. Joan's husband got called out.
Got called out big time, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
We were laughing the entire time.
And why? Because he's normal.
So it was so good. He said, "Does anybody not have any problems in here?" And the only one that didn't, the only one that raised their hands was Joan Jones. Joan Jones' husband. He raises his hands. He said, "Stand up, sir. Stand up, sir." He said, "This is what denial looks like." and then it was like maybe 3 minutes later, my wife and I, we were like laughing in church. We're like little kids. Because then we see Joan walk in after all of that happened. And then for the rest of the sermon, he kept looking over towards Joan's husband.
And making references to
him and what he did earlier. And we knew that Joan had no idea.
None.
And it really made us chuckle. So did you go back? Did you go back and watch it on the live stream, Joan?
That's what I'm doing today, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah, but and when he told me that he said he was in denial, I was like, wow, man.
So
he doesn't even know him.
My wife is like begging me to text you in the middle of church. She's like, "You got to text Joan and let her know what happened. You got to give her the breakdown." I said, no. She's gonna figure this out in her own way.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It was so funny.
If there's anybody who doesn't shoulder anything and doesn't carry it to bed with them and doesn't nothing bothers him, It's my husband.
He's in denial, Joan.
He's in denial, obviously.
Apparently, this denial is contagious. Speaking of denial, ready for a radio segue? Democrats are in denial over the success of the Trump-Putin summit. Man, I'm getting good at these radio segues.
Smooth.
It's taken me a little while, but I feel like I've mastered them.
Mastered them?
I'm getting there.
Yeah, no, you're getting pretty good.
I'm getting pretty good. All right,
Props to you.
So while the leftists are in complete denial over the success that happened, we have the Trump administration going on their media tour. One of the things that they're in denial about over at CBS is the fact that the European leaders coming to the White House today to meet with Donald Trump and Zelensky isn't a huge win. In fact, Margaret Brennan, she's got a theory. Some would call it a conspiracy theory. It's just a theory. She's got this theory that the EU leaders are only coming so that way Zelensky doesn't get bullied again.
You know, there's concern from the Europeans that President Zelensky is going to be bullied into signing something away. That's why you have these European leaders coming as backup tomorrow.
Oh, is that so, ma'am? Marco Rubio doesn't exactly take kindly to that theory from Margaret Brennan. I'll bring you his response after the headlines with Joan Jones, which starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 10:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Texas Democrats now ending their walkout as Republicans appear poised to go ahead and redraw those legislative maps. ABC's Brian Clark reporting.
Texas Democrats say they're ending their 2-week walkout because their two conditions have been met: the sine die adjournment of the first special session and the introduction of California's proposed redistricting maps. The chair of the Democratic caucus, Gene Wu, says his party's more dangerous to the Republican plans than when they left, and they now plan to build a, quote, legal case against the discriminatory map.
Despite that rosy outlook, the GOP redistricting map will pass, setting Republicans up for 5 more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. The driver of a tractor trailer involved in a crash last week that killed 3 people in St. Lucie County, Florida, has been identified as Harjinder Singh, in the country illegally, having crossed into the U.S. from Mexico in 2018. Now, despite his immigration status, Singh obtained a commercial driver's license in California. Police say Singh attempted an illegal U-turn, crossing over the lanes in the opposite direction. An oncoming car ended up underneath that trailer. We now know why Perry County schools were closed today. Channel 4's Amanda Harris says there was a threat made online in a suicide chat room.
So someone posted in the group saying they were bullied, had a gun, planned to end it all, and threatened Perry County schools. The person didn't specify a specific school, but the district decided to close all of them out of precaution.
Perry County schools say they'll make a decision about tomorrow, later today. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Maybe you've been running a business for a while. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, but either way, you've been carrying the team on your back and you're starting to feel it. That back pain is really starting to ruin your day. Neck pain, knee pain. It's ruining your life. Well, listen up, because this is going to change everything for you. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special from the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and just $12 is going to get you back to full strength. A full exam, x-rays if needed, and a well-explained diagnosis for only $12. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley aren't going to give up on healing you of the pain that is causing you so much discomfort, sleepless nights, and agony during the day. Just like President Trump never gave up on America, these guys won't give up on you. That's why it's the BDT. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, they'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. What you won't find, surgery, injections, and painkillers. Grab your MRI, get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or visit the Wellness Institute of Nashville online, painisbad.com. 1036 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Why would we need that? Mason, do you have any idea?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Betterwater.com. There's a reason if you need one.
That's a pretty good reason.
You can watch the show. We're live on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat and in the Rumble chat. Appreciate you guys joining the conversation here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you guys for listening to us as well, whether you're on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or the FM dial. We appreciate you joining the show, however you may be joining the show. You can find me when I'm off air online, Twitter, True Social, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube. All of them are the same, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. We're talking about Margaret Brennan, CBS Face the Nation. Rubio's on a bunch of different shows over the weekend, a bunch. And the most combative is Margaret Brennan. I really don't care, Margaret. I really don't care. She's very upset, and she's under the impression that all the EU leaders are coming today to the White House to make sure Zelensky doesn't get bullied by Donald Trump.
You know, there's concern from the Europeans that President Zelensky is going to be bullied into signing something away. That's why you have these European leaders coming as backup tomorrow.
Oh, that's why. That's why, Marco. They're all so nervous that Zelensky's going to be bullied. Got it. Got it. Rubio doesn't take any of this sitting down.
Can you
No, it isn't. That's not why they're coming as back. That's not true. No, but that's not that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're not coming.
That February Oval Office
they're coming
meeting
here tomorrow
in front of television cameras where President Zelensky
Do you know how many meetings
was
we've had
down.
since then?
Oh, no, I know, and I was just up in
but we had
Alaska
a bunch of
watching the
meetings
one
since
with
then.
Vladimir Putin where a red carpet rolled
No,
out
but
for
it
the
was
Russian leader. It was
Zelensky. We've
very
had more
different.
meetings. We've had one meeting with Putin and like a dozen meetings with Zelensky. But that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're coming here tomorrow because we've been working with the Europeans. We talked to them last week. There were meetings in the UK over the previous weekend.
And they said President Trump was going to demand a ceasefire.
As early as Thursday. No. But you said that they're coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're not coming here tomorrow. Oh, this is such a stupid media narrative that they're...
It is a stupid media narrative, isn't it? Oh, but the last time Zelensky was in the White House, he got bee-slapped in front of everybody. J.D. Vance broke out the knife hands. Oh, my gosh, how do you recover from that? Well, we've had 12 meetings since then, Margaret. But you rolled out the red carpet for Putin. Okay, Margaret. Okay. Got it. Are you paying attention to the other meetings that we're having with European leaders behind the scenes? No? Okay, got it.
Coming here tomorrow because Trump is going to bully Zelensky into a bad deal. We've been working with these people for weeks on this stuff. They're coming here tomorrow because they chose to come here tomorrow. We invited them to come. We invited them to come. The president invited them to come.
You can make the argument, like Brian did on the phone a little while ago, that it wasn't an invite. They were summoned. You can make that argument for sure. But yeah, they're not coming to prevent him from being bullied. They're coming to negotiate peace.
But the president told those European leaders last week that he wanted a ceasefire. The president went on television, said he would walk out of the meeting if Vladimir Putin didn't agree with one. He said there would be severe consequences if he didn't agree to one. He said he'd walk out in 2 minutes. He spent 3 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and he did not get one. So there's
because
some mixed
obviously
messages.
things happened during that meeting. Well, because obviously look, our goal here is not to stage some production for the world to say, oh, how dramatic, he walked out. Our goal here is to have a peace agreement, to end this war, okay? And obviously we felt, and I agreed, that there was enough progress, not a lot of progress, but enough progress made in those talks to allow us to move to the next phase. If not, we wouldn't be having Zelensky flying all the way over here. We wouldn't be having all the Europeans coming all the way over here. Now understand, and take with a grain of salt, I'm not saying we're on the verge of a peace deal, but I am saying that we saw movement, enough movement to justify a follow-up meeting with Zelensky and the Europeans, enough movement for us to dedicate even more time to this. You talk about the sanctions. Look, at the end of the day, if peace is not going to be possible here, and this is just going to continue on as a war, people will continue to die by the thousands. The president has that option to then come in and impose new sanctions. But if he did this now, the moment the president puts those additional sanctions, that's the end of the talks. You've basically locked in at least another year to year and a half of war and death and destruction. We may unfortunately wind up there, but we don't want to wind up there. We want to wind up with a peace deal that ends this war so Ukraine can go on with the rest of their lives and rebuild their country and be assured that this is never going to happen again. That's the goal here. We're going to do everything possible to make that happen if it's doable. It will require both sides to make concessions. It will require both sides to get things they're asking for. That's how these deals are made, whether we like it or not.
But it does seem like the mainstream media is rooting against a peace deal. Don't you feel like that? It feels like that to me. Like the fact that this could be another win for President Trump is enough for the mainstream media to say, no, 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 let the killing continue. Their hatred for Trump is so strong. It goes so deep. It's so vast that they would rather have bodies being just shredded on the front lines of Ukraine ad nauseum, indefinitely, just so that way they could do a victory lap around President Trump. See, we told you couldn't do it. It's like, it's just insane. But this is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. The mainstream media just doing everything they can to stand in the way of peace here. It's wild to me. Rubio did a great job over the weekend. He really did, on all the different TV shows. He didn't hold back. He was willing to answer any question. He shut down the narrative from the left every opportunity that he had. And they didn't really have a lot left in the gun after Rubio was done with them. They wasted all their ammo. Oh, he rolled out the red carpet for Putin. Okay. He also displayed sheer military strength and logistics at the exact same time. Oh, he said he'd walk out if he didn't get a ceasefire. The meeting went on for 3 hours. He said he would walk out if it wasn't productive. Clearly, it was productive. We have Zelensky and European leaders coming here today. Now, nobody's putting the cart before the horse. Nobody's saying that this is definitely going to lead to a peace deal. But it definitely seems like the mainstream media is rooting against said peace deal. That's what it looks like to me. Trump, on the other hand, wants Zelensky and Putin to meet as soon as Friday. As according to several media reports, Post Millennial has this story. Trump is slated to meet with Zelensky on Monday today at the White House, but President Trump would like to have Putin and Zelensky meet as soon as Friday for a trilateral meeting between the U.S. president and the two leaders, according to a report from Axios. Trump is going to meet with Zelensky today at the White House and European leaders after meeting with Putin in Alaska on Friday, where negotiations were discussed about peace between Russia and Ukraine. The comments from Trump came during a call with European leaders and invited those on the call to join in on the White House meeting, per the outlet. Trump, as well as the administration officials, briefed Zelensky on the way back from the summit in Alaska. In the briefing, the president, as well as the other officials, said that Putin had demanded Ukraine cede two regions, the Donetsk and the Luhansk. I'm butchering that. Is it Luchansk? I know I'm butchering it. I apologize. To Russia in order to reach an agreement. Russia currently controls all of those one regions, but only 75% of the Donetsk. The front lines would freeze where they are, something that Putin presented as a concession to Ukraine, according to the report. After the Alaska meeting with Putin on Friday, the leaders held a press conference where both of them said that there had been great progress on the negotiations. We know all that. But we're still learning more, and we're hoping for peace. Now, Trump went on record, says, guys, while we want peace and the U.S. is going to be at the front of these peace deals, there's no way that this war impacts the United States as much as it impacts our European allies. And they can say that the European allies are coming today to make sure Zelensky doesn't get bullied. But I think that this is closer to the truth. This war affects Europe more than it affects America. Here's President Trump on Friday.
This does not impact the United States as much as it does our allies in Europe.
It's true.
The Middle East, when we get involved in the Middle East, but you're doing it anyway. Now, why? Is it to save lives? Do you want to save the world?
Yeah, number one, to save lives in all cases, because wars are wars. When you see what would have happened with Cambodia as an example. Now, I'm not involved, but I was involved in negotiating a trade deal, and I said, you guys are going to be fighting Thailand, Cambodia, so many different. Look at India. Take a look at India and Pakistan. They were shooting down airplanes already, and that would have been maybe nuclear. I would have said it was going to go nuclear, and I was able to get it done. Number one is lives, and number two is everything else. Wars are very bad, and if you can avoid them, and I seem to have an ability to end them, to get people together.
And let's hope that that ability continues. But I get nervous. I do. Some of the things that make me nervous about a lasting peace deal isn't exactly the left. Some of the things that make me more nervous about anything is the neocons and the warmongers and the military-industrial complex. I don't know if you noticed this, but all weekend long, it seemed like Lindsey Graham was out there trying to derail peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, the same Lindsey Graham who just received a stellar, glowing endorsement from President Trump, which I said at the time was a massive mistake. Why would you endorse Lindsey Graham? And I think what we saw over the weekend, just reiterates how big of a mistake that was. President Trump ally Lindsey Graham, this is how the New York Post puts it. President Trump ally Lindsey Graham threatened to champion bipartisan legislation designating Russia a state sponsor of terrorism over the kidnappings of Ukrainian children unless Moscow returns them. Now, before we get into the meat and the nitty-gritty of the story, in the middle of peace negotiations, Lindsey Graham is championing bipartisan legislation that would designate Russia a state sponsor of terrorism. Now, whether or not you want to make the argument that that's true, the timing of it seems so suspect and smells like you know what. Lindsey Graham is pushing to derail peace negotiations. That's what this looks like. The same Lindsey Graham who is pictured in the back of photos in Ukraine all the time. I mean, he's always in Ukraine. It's always Graham, Blumenthal, McCain when he was still alive. Those are the trio, right? Lindsey Graham is now pushing to derail these peace talks. He said, so this is about missing kids. Throughout this brutal war in Ukraine, Russia has been accused of abducting over 20,000 Ukrainian children and putting some of them up for adoption with the goal of raising them to be Russian. He says, I intend to push the return of these children until I can't push anymore, Graham vowed on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures. If they do not return these children to the Ukraine, the 19,000, then I'm going to push legislation to make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law. The South Carolina Republican said, warning such a move would make Russia radioactive. Estimates of the children abducted by Russia vary, with some Ukrainian officials pegging it closer to 35,000. The Kremlin was vexed back in 2014 during Ukraine's Revolution of Dignity, in which protesters ousted pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych and shifted towards the West. Russia's demented kidnapping of Ukrainian children appears to be part of a broader strategy to remold Ukraine into a Russian sphere of influence over the long term. I don't know much about the missing kid story. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I do take it with a grain of salt, knowing it's being perpetuated by Lindsey Graham and the New York Post and their love for war. So I don't know. They say in some instances the abducted children have been put on the battlefield to fight against Ukraine, according to top officials in Kyiv and non-governmental organizations. I'm sure there's no bias in Kyiv or NGOs. Ahead of President Trump's meeting with Russian strongman Vladimir Putin on Friday, the White House stressed that the mass abduction of Ukrainian children remains a concern. Trump handed Putin a letter from the First Lady pushing him to pursue peace and warning about the negative toll war has on children without explicitly delving into the kidnapping issue. Melania Trump did send a letter to President Putin, and we have that letter. It was urging peace, and I'm grateful for Melania to do it. I think it's a good thing, not a negative. But she sent a letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin urging him that it's time for peace and that the war in Ukraine and Russia needs to come to an end to protect children and future generations to come. This peace letter was reported on by Fox News, hand-delivered to Putin from President Trump at the Friday summit in Alaska. Post-millennial reports, the Russian president immediately read the letter when it was given to him. This is what it said. Dear President Putin, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or in a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it's our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. As leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all so that every soul may wake to peace and so that the future itself is perfectly guarded. A simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I am sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity and innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology. The letter continued, in today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laughter untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can potentially claim their future. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. In protecting the innocence of these children, you will do more than serve Russia alone. You'll serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcends all human division, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implement this vision with a stroke of a pen today. It is time. The letter from the First Lady was written ahead of the summit with Trump and Putin meeting in Alaska, where the two leaders discussed those negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. I'm grateful for Melania sending that letter. I hope that it did touch the heart of Vladimir Putin. I hope that it does help with these negotiations for peace. I think that's what we all want at the end of the day, unless you're a member of the media and also a leftist. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's back to school season, and Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they're bringing the buzz with some big savings and sweet giveaways. If you got septic issues, should have called them a few days ago, let's be perfectly honest. But now's the time to call them anyway, because you can get 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the school year. You can also upgrade your HVAC system. Now, listen to this. Maybe you need that AC system. But here's the reason to do it with Busy Bee. When you get one from Busy Bee, you're going to be automatically entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway. That's a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. We always hear about teachers coming out of pocket to get school supplies and get X and get Y and get Z. Imagine if you could bring $1,500 to that classroom. Game changer. Here's a gift that's sweeter than a red apple for that teacher, coach, or faculty member in your life. You buy a Beehive Club membership, and you can get a free one to give to that local teacher, coach, or faculty member. Buy one, gift one. It's that simple. All that and more, courtesy of Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Give them a call today, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. And you can always find them online, busybeehvac.com.
All right, drivers got a crash 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane. That's off on the right shoulder, but you got to get over for the first responders there. And authorities have responded to a suspicious package near the intersection of Union Street and 6th Avenue downtown. We've got that and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Mason Fleming producing. Mason's always kicking butt. Appreciate you, Mason. And we got you guys live, phone lines, text line, YouTube chat, Rumble chat. Appreciate y'all. Hit like and subscribe, all the things. So, do you want an update on Zelensky and what he's wearing?
I think we need it.
Okay. I mean, this is what the people really came here for.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's all I care about.
That's honestly. So, there were rumors that he's going to wear a suit to the White House.
Rumors.
Those rumors still persist.
Okay.
But I would like to highlight, if those rumors that he's wearing a suit to the White House are to persist, that means we're going to need a wardrobe change because Zelensky, they got him on video meeting with Special Representative Keith Kellogg in Washington, D.C. And if you're watching on the stream, you'll see it. If you're not watching on the stream, black T-shirt. Black T-shirt.
Ha.
Do you think he's going to have a wardrobe change before the Oval Office meeting?
I will say I haven't seen him turn around to see the front, so maybe it's one of those ones with the tie.
It could
the
be a
suit and tie
tuxedo
shirt.
T-shirt. Oh, no, not it.
No, he let me down
confirmed,
on more
not
than
a
one way.
tuxedo T-shirt. That actually would be hilarious.
That would have been so funny.
I wouldn't have even been mad at that.
I'd have been like, you know what? Hats off to you.
And
Great
a
play.
real boutonniere.
So, we'll have to get a wardrobe change if we're going to have a meeting in the Oval Office. The stage is set for the meeting in the Oval Office with Zelensky, Trump, and J.D. Vance. It's looking very presidential, very much covered in gold. Pictures on the stream in case you're watching. They're ready. J.D. Vance, do you think he's warming up the knife hand?
You gotta.
Do you think he's doing a couple of reps before he gets out there? I would.
Sorry, I love the little video play, the little GIF playing on the side of that.
Oh, with the Zelensky.
It's got little baby Zelensky
yeah,
in the chair through the negotiation.
Little baby Zelensky. Little
so
guy.
Good.
Little fella.
Little
Just a
guy's
little
dressed
dude.
nicer than in the meme than Zelensky does in real
He
life.
is.
President Trump, though, he's not backing down. He's taking to Truth Social. He's giving it to the mainstream media. He's like, you remember that I'm the guy that solved 6 wars in 6 months, right? We'll bring you those comments from Trump on the way. Plus, we'll update you on what's happening in D.C. There's still fallout from what happened over the weekend, the federalization of the D.C. police force. And we got some updates on immigration. Did you see the viral video going around with the illegal alien from California deciding to pull a U-turn on the middle of the highway, killing a family?
What?
It's insane. It's insane. We'll bring you all that and more. It's 11:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, reports say authorities have responded to a suspicious package. It's downtown near the intersection of Union Street and 6th Avenue. Reports say that intersection was closed there near the Capitol Hotel. Police say the object, shaped like a safe, contained fake money covered by a white substance. And authorities are working to identify the white substance. The Nashville Fire Department and Metro Nashville Police Department on scene investigating. 2 Utah police officers were killed and a third injured along with a service dog when they responded to a domestic disturbance call at a home last night. They were fired on by a suspect inside the residence. Happened in Tremonton, about 70 miles north of Salt Lake City. Here's Brigham City Police Chief Chad Reyes.
Having 2 officers killed in the line of duty and another and their dog injured is an event that really rocks an entire nation.
Suspect in the shooting arrested and has been charged with aggravated murder. Here in Middle Tennessee, the two people charged with the death of a young man who was driving to work on I-24 last month are due in court today. Noah Taylor was 22 years old when he was gunned down while behind the wheel near Waldron Road.
Letitia McGowan and Glenn Branson are now charged with second-degree murder. Police reports showing that officers found a bullet casing in the trash at their Smyrna home, and that actually matched a cartridge case found where Taylor crashed.
Channel 4's Alexandria Adams. And President Zelensky will be in Washington, D.C. to sit down with President Trump in their first face-to-face since their combative meeting back in February. And Zelensky bringing friends, as we hear from Ian Pannell.
On the heels of the summit between Trump and Putin, European and NATO leaders announcing that they'll be by Ukrainian President Zelensky's side with President Trump.
It's necessary to cease fire and work quickly on a final deal.
President Zelensky doubling down.
Putin does not want to stop the killing, but he must do it.
Despite talking peace, no signs Russia is slowing down its assault on Ukraine. More Russian attacks tonight.
Overnight, Hurricane Erin strengthened once more to a Cat 4 hurricane as it barrels towards the east coast. Some states already beginning to prepare.
A state of emergency declared along North Carolina's Outer Banks, and some residents ordered to evacuate ahead of potential flooding from Erin. Erin bringing heavy rain and wind to parts of the Caribbean over the weekend. Its outer bands lashing the Virgin Islands and flooding parts of Puerto Rico.
That's ABC's Rhiannon Alley and the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We are eagerly anticipating the summit between Trump and Zelensky, the bilateral meeting. Oval Office is ready for it. We're waiting for European leaders to arrive for their White House meeting, which is going to immediately follow the Zelensky meeting. They're only there so that way Zelensky doesn't get bullied. According to CBS. Donald Trump, not exactly pleased with how the mainstream media has been covering the summit with Putin, the subsequent peace talks over the weekend, and the meetings that we have today, posting on Truth Social, I've settled 6 wars in 6 months, one of them a possible nuclear disaster, and yet I have to read and listen to the Wall Street Journal and many others who truly don't have a clue tell me everything that I'm doing wrong on the Russia-Ukraine mess. That is Sleepy Joe Biden's war, not mine. I'm only here to stop it, not to prosecute it any further. It would never have happened if I was president. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I don't need the advice of people who have been working on all of these conflicts for years and were never able to do a thing to stop them. They are stupid people with no common sense, intelligence, or understanding, and they only make the current Russia-Ukraine disaster more difficult to fix. Despite all of my lightweight and very jealous critics, I'll get it done. I always do. President DJT. I like the new signature, the President DJT. I don't know. I'm warming up to it.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Short and sweet.
He's right there. DJT. I would do a 45, 47. I think that would be smooth too. But we're waiting.
Be clean.
We're waiting for European leaders to begin arriving to the White House. We got Zelensky in D.C. I don't know if he's arrived at the White House just yet. There were reports that he may or may not be wearing a suit today. He met with Steve Kellogg from the administration, and he was wearing a black T-shirt. No word on if he changes before he gets to the Oval Office meeting with President Trump and President Vance. We'll see what happens.
I might be thoroughly disappointed.
What do you think the odds are that he wears a suit? Do you think Kalshi or Polymarket is betting on this right now?
Ooh, they definitely should be.
They definitely should.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Where would you put your money? Does he change and wear a suit?
I think I'd put it on he doesn't.
You put it on he doesn't wear a suit?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think, all right, here's okay.
He looks like a guy that likes to be comfortable, I guess. Not that suits aren't comfortable. It's just, I don't know. He constantly does the relaxed look more than the professional look.
So here, I'll go out on a limb. If he doesn't wear a suit, there's no peace deal today.
Ooh.
I think if he shows up wearing a suit, he's there to do business. Does that make sense?
If he's not wearing a suit, JD knifes him out the door.
JD's going to knife him.
Knife hands him out the door. Let me clarify.
No butterfly.
No butterfly.
Just a hand. All right.
Just a hand.
Got it. So they don't have a bet on Kalshi.
Lame.
If he'll be wearing a suit. I wonder if Polymarket does. I really want a piece of this action.
Listen, man, they could be making big money.
I mean, we got all right. So there's some bets. Okay. So we got what will Trump say during Zelensky event on August 18th? 1,000 million billion. Putin more than 5 times. Biden more than 5 times. Hell more than 3 times. Ceasefire more than 3 times. I would definitely take Putin at over 5.
Oh yeah,
right.
Easy.
Would you?
Easy.
What about Biden? I think I would go with the under on Joe Biden.
I would go with the under because he'd probably say the previous administration or something like that.
I'd also wonder what it stipulates. Like, does Sleepy Joe count as a Biden reference?
If it's a Biden reference, yes. But if you're looking for specifically the word Biden, I would say no.
Oh, they got it. They got the suit one.
They do?
Yep.
Good.
All right. So
what's the specifics on it though? Just if he wears one?
Yeah, they say it's a 35% chance that he wears one currently.
Interesting.
So you can buy yes for 36 cents. You can buy no for 66 cents. So the yes would win you more money, right?
I believe so.
So if I put $250 down on yes and he wore a suit, I'd win $676.
Yes.
But if I put $250 down to say no, I'd only win $376.
Correct.
So you're only winning like what? You'd win like a couple hundred on top of your original bet.
Yeah.
Oh, do I put down a yes?
For him to wear a suit?
I'm really torn. Super texters, do I bet that he wears a suit or not?
You got 10 minutes.
Is that smart money? We're up against it here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put my debit card in while we're on the air.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make this bet.
Oh, yeah. All right, can you read those numbers out nice and loud for me so we can put them in properly?
Yeah, I'm going to read all the debit card numbers to Mason so he can do it for me because that's what a good producer does.
Yeah, what are those 3 on the back real quick?
All right, so there's a lot of bets. Suit is not the most popular bet. The most popular bet right now is will he say Russia, Ukraine more than 15 times?
As a combo or just the words themselves?
It doesn't break it down. It doesn't break it down. It just has the word.
Yeah, I am getting into the semantics a bit.
If somebody understands poly market better than I do, let me know.
Yeah, text in. Love to.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What are your best odds?
Share it on the text line. I bet he wears a tracksuit.
Oh, would that count as a suit?
Ooh, I don't know.
It's got it in the name.
It's in the name.
Marco Rubio. Let's see, 64%. Crimea, Donetsk, 53%. Rare earth mineral, 38%. Says market context. Per the rules, this market explicitly about scheduled bilateral and multilateral events with Ukrainian president. As such, the president participates in a bilateral meeting with the president of Ukraine. Event qualifies, and the president participates in a multilateral meeting with European leaders. Will qualify if the president of Ukraine is present. If the event contains a Q&A, it will count toward the resolution of this market. Speeches, events, or comments that occur outside of the named scheduled events will not qualify. It's interesting.
8064 on the text line. No, his wardrobe is too similar to Fetterman's.
Oh. Yeah, well,
yeah.
But Fetterman has like this Bill Belichick thing going on.
Yeah. He's actually got some good takes sometimes.
Yeah, and he has some decent takes sometimes.
Sometimes.
The stroke fixed him a little bit. It did. Silver lining. All right, so yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know, man. I'm so tempted to make some bets. I feel like we could win money.
We could win a lot of money, but
I don't have enough.
But at what cost?
I know. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to figure this out. I really should have been doing this last night.
Oh, for sure.
Where were you at? Why didn't you didn't give me a heads up?
I was swimming at the pool.
Remember that time I said earlier in the show, I said Mason's the producer. He's been doing a great job.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Hey, wait a second.
All right.
That was fast.
There was nothing about Sunday night.
You had about 43 minutes of crushing it, and then it's been removed.
It just fell off.
So, all right, we got other stuff to cover in the meantime. Oh, is that Macron? No, that's Mark Rutte.
Macron.
That's Mark Rutte. Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, has arrived at the White House. I wonder if we can get a live stream up on the stream of
I'll find something for you
of the leaders arriving, just so we can have it playing in the background. We'll get something up on the screen as we keep a close eye on these European leaders arriving at the White House for their meeting with Trump and Zelensky. If you see Zelensky at any moment wearing a suit, we're going to need a breaking news sounder. Does everybody understand that?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Perfect. In the meantime, there is other news to cover. This story caught my eye over the weekend, and it was just heartbreaking on so many levels. We talked to a lot of truck drivers on this show. Anecdotally, the number one show for truck drivers in Middle Tennessee. And I saw something that I know. It's like the guys that we talk to, and girls, they've been warning us about this kind of stuff happening for months and months and months, that it's getting insanely dangerous out there for truck drivers, because you're having people that can't speak English driving these trucks, and you're having illegal aliens driving these trucks. And we saw one of those just disasters happen in real time over the weekend. An illegal alien got his ID to drive a truck, his license to drive a truck in, the failed state of California. And there's a video going around online. If you're watching on the stream, just trigger warning, just so you know, because, you see this crash happen in real time. There's no blood, there's no gore. But the members of this family did lose their life. But you see a guy who is in the far right lane of a highway like 24, decide to pull a U-turn across 4 lanes of traffic in a massive 18-wheeler. And as he's doing that, you see a minivan careen into the 18-wheeler. It's like, brother, you never should have done that in a million years. And he doesn't look remorseful at all in the post and the post-crash footage, they don't look shocked. They don't look stunned. They just look like, meh, whatever. No big deal. No big deal. And it blows my mind. This story is a disaster. And the Indian man who is driving that truck that killed 3 Americans on a Florida highway crash entered the United States illegally in 2018, marking another atrocity enabled by pro-migration legislators and lobby groups, says Breitbart. The Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles Department announced on Saturday that state troopers obtained a criminal arrest warrant for the driver, Harjinder Singh, for 3 counts of vehicular homicide. During the course of this criminal investigation, and with the assistance of ICE, state troopers determined that he entered the United States illegally. Having crossed the Mexico border in 2018, the defendant would then obtain a commercial driver's license in the state of California. What the hell is happening in this country? The killings are the latest in a string of deaths caused by diverse foreign drivers who are allowed to get commercial driver's licenses via lax approval policies or bribery in California and other states. Where are my truck drivers at on this? 615-737-9986 if you want to weigh in. Many other drivers have crossed the Canadian or Mexican border with B1, B2 visitor visas, then illegally operate in the United States. Many of the migrants, either illegal or quasi-legal, find work within the growing population of legal migrants from Mexico, Eastern Europe, or India. For example, huge numbers of Indians have been legalized via the H-1B or E-2 investor visas, and then has attracted many other Indians to migrate illegally into Indian-managed jobs, such as retail clerks, gas station workers, and, you guessed it, truck drivers. The Indian government supports the mass migration of Indians into the United States, partly because the migrants send many billions home in remittances. When are we going to tariff the remittances to these countries? I think that would be a great start. You hear it so often with Mexican illegal aliens and Indian illegal aliens. They send all the money they make back home, a good majority of it. So that never gets into our economy, never. And we're only left with the negative impacts of these individuals. As you can see on your screen if you're watching on YouTube, pulling a U-turn across 3 lanes of traffic in Florida. Insane. They say it's evident that the driver of the commercial semi-truck recklessly and without regard for the safety of others attempted a U-turn utilizing an unauthorized location. As a result of his actions, the 3 occupants of the minivan are now deceased. The actions taken by the defendant while operating a commercial tractor-trailer are both shocking and criminal, said Executive Director Dave Kerner. The people lost their lives as a result of his recklessness, and countless friends and family members will experience the pain of their loss forever. Singh is in custody on state vehicular homicide charges and immigration violations. He will no longer be able to damage and destroy the lives of Floridians and visitors. At the conclusion of his state charge, he will be deported. Let's go to Danny in Lebanon. Your thoughts on what you saw in Florida over the weekend, Danny?
Yes, sir. I got to tell you, about these illegals. I was involved there at Pennsylvania state line. I was going up 81 right there, and I stopped at that rest area. And I'd stopped. There was a truck stopped in front of me, and a foreigner went and hit me. I mean, he smacked me hard enough to total his truck, but it bent my back bumper. Yeah, and he got out of his truck, and he come up, and he said, no police, don't call police. It's like, that's not how it works in the United States, buddy.
Yeah. So how long
no
how long have you been driving a truck, Danny?
Oh, going on 20 years.
When
I've
did
been
you
all 40.
When did you see the scales start tipping into the area where we're at now with a lot of illegal alien drivers?
Wow, it's been about 5-6 years ago. Yeah.
5-6
but,
years.
But it's gotten a lot more, since they've been crossing the border, and I've been saying that for years, man. I said they're handing them, they got to be giving them licenses, because I mean, they have to be, because they were anxious of filling in all these seats because they said that we didn't have enough drivers, and it's like at least make sure they can speak and read English and know general rules of the road, But this particular guy, he didn't seem to be remorseful whatsoever about any of it. He just, on any of the videos or anything that I'd watched
that was my biggest takeaway, and I appreciate the call, Danny. He is an illegal alien from India, and I don't know how much you know about India, but they'll just leave their dead on the side of the street to rot away. Seriously, like that's how they deal with it in India. People don't bat an eye at it. So, yeah, you look at this guy, and it's a cultural difference, but there is absolutely no remorse on his face. He doesn't care. Moving on. Tristan on the road. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Tristan?
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
How long you been trucking, man?
So I've actually been trucking for 5 years, and I actually just moved to Middle Tennessee from Vermont back in March. So I work in LTL, but yeah. So I just got to say, I saw that video that you're talking about. It was going viral on TikTok this weekend. Yeah, no, I'm shocked at the outcome of that. Like, even like the last guy was saying, there's like no remorse whatsoever. And the fact that, yeah, like you said, in California and these other liberal states, they're just handing out driver's licenses like that. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why they allow that.
I'm with you, man. We got to get a handle on it, and I appreciate the call. I got time for one more. Larry on the road, also a truck driver. How long you been trucking, Larry?
29 years, sir.
All right. Well, tell me what your instant reaction is on this, because I think you got a lot more experience than I do in this field.
Well, absolutely. The clearinghouse was made in 2020 by Biden to drive up the grocery prices. That's what we're going through right now. A lot of them drug offenses, like, from cocaine to marijuana to gummies.
Yep.
So what's happened is that they didn't let any drivers know at all, what the consequences was. We're taking a back gummy, this, that, and the other. So drove up the grocery prices. They love it. 178,000 drivers were taken off the road in 2020. And so you got the chickens, you got the trucking. They know exactly what they did for all of this catastrophe to happen.
How do we fix it?
How do we fix it? Well, they as over the weekend, Biden is talking about regulating. They've got the CBD mixed up with the marijuana, the gummies mixed up with the regular marijuana. To get it back the way it should be, as he's talking about, is taking that away from Schedule 1, I think, to Schedule 2 or 3, if I read correctly. That's something that he's proposing to get when that happened in 2020, hey, all these guys, they didn't go through all the courses, the thousands of dollars that would be charged. So they went into forklift driving. They went into other jobs. They left trucking behind them. So that's how we get it straightened back out. Yes, truck drivers smoke a lot of cigarettes. They got a lot of idle time on their hands, a lot of back problems, a lot of medical problems.
Yeah.
And when they say that they cannot regulate, I can't tell if that guy is high this morning or, a guy that smoked crack over the weekend. By Monday morning, he's fresh again.
Yep.
I mean, he can answer your analysis.
Yeah.
Cocaine the same way, but marijuana or a CBD product will put you out for 30 days. So where's the science on this? That's what I'd like to know.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Larry. Thanks so much, man. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. We'll cover this over. We'll carry it over into the lightning round. A lot of people want to weigh in on it. I'm more than happy to extend the conversation with you guys on the phone line, 615-737-9986. It's 1126. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends over at Zero Res of Nashville. And you guys know I got 4 kids. I have 2 dogs. You can imagine what my floors go through. I mean, some days it looks like a battleground, especially after baseball practice. And by the end of the summer, there's dirt, paw prints, mystery stains. The mystery stains are usually a 3-year-old. I don't ask much about the mystery stains. What I do is I call Zero Res, and they use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue, which means my carpets and my upholstery is going to be insanely clean, and it's going to stay clean even longer. So the kids can sprawl out on the floor, the dogs can roll around, and I don't have to worry about what's in the fibers. And it's not just carpets. They'll do your air ducts. They'll do your tile, your rugs, your upholstery, the works. Perfect for back to school when you're taking your home back after the summer chaos. And right now in August, you can get 3 rooms cleaned for just $109. Plus 20% off area rugs, upholstery, and air ducts, and more. Restrictions may apply. Give them a call today, 615-535-9376. That's the number for Zero Res, 615-535-9376, or you can find them online, ZeroResNashville.com.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, still monitoring the reports of a suspicious package near the intersection of Union Street and 6th Avenue in downtown. Now, we say a package. Police reportedly say it was an object shaped like a safe and contained fake money covered by a wiped substance. This at the intersection of Union Street and 6th Avenue near the Capitol Hotel. They had to shut the road down there while they were investigating, and they're trying to figure out what the white substance is. 2 Utah police officers were killed and a third injured along with his service dog when they responded to a domestic disturbance call at a home last night and were fired on by a suspect inside that home. It happened in Tremonton, about 70 miles north of Salt Lake City. Here's Brigham City Police Chief Chad Reyes.
These officers are definitely heroes.
The suspect in the shooting arrested and has been charged with aggravated murder. Here in Nashville, Channel 4 says the community coming together to help 10 families who lost their homes in a massive apartment fire in Bellevue over the weekend. Councilwoman Sherry Weiner represents parts of it and tells Channel 4.
We have one child who's getting ready to go away to college, had everything ready, and lost it all. stories of legal documents lost that were critical. Those are the kind of things that they're having to deal with within 24 hours of watching everything that they own burn up in a fire.
No one was hurt in the fire there at the Slade apartment homes. One firefighter sustained minor burns and others experienced heat exhaustion while battling the blaze. And the good news, Americans are putting less on their credit cards when it comes to money news. The bad news, getting benefits of certain cards is costing more.
New data from Visa and MasterCard shows credit card spending, while growing, isn't rising as fast as it had been. The slowdown coming as Americans have piled up more than $1 trillion in credit card debt. If you do use plastic, perks from those cards getting more expensive. More credit card companies are boosting the annual fees for cards that offer benefits like travel rewards. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Bobcat, and I want to tell you about Bobcat Dirt Days. It's happening on Friday, September 12th, and I'm going to be doing my show live at their Nashville store location from 9 to noon on September 12th, brought to you by your regional Bobcat compact equipment dealers. It's their way of saying thank you to the construction and land moving pros who keep the communities growing. And they're going to have attendance prizes all day, 10% off all in-stock genuine Bobcat parts, 1 extra day free on all weekly machine rentals booked by September 30th. You'll be able to test your skills in the operator skills contest for a shot to win big. Plus, there's going to be snacks and drinks on Bobcat at all of their locations all day long. So swing by on your break and refuel. Bobcat has grown to 7 Middle Tennessee locations and 1 in Bowling Green, offering legendary quality, the broadest range of attachment, and sales programs from 0% financing to major rebates on loaders and mini excavators. And they want to say thank you to you. So join me at the Bobcat store in Nashville on September 12th from 9 to noon. Check out the gear, the experience, and Bobcat. One tough animal. Details are online, bobcatgdn.com. 1137 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. So we were talking about this truck driver fiasco, but I feel like this kind of melts right into the lightning round.
Oh, for sure.
We always ask for hot takes on the lightning round. We do. And I think that there's a lot of people on the phone with a lot of hot takes on what happened in Florida over the weekend. So without further ado, let's kick off the lightning round and let's get to your calls.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
So what we saw over the weekend was an illegal alien truck driver in Florida decide to pull a U-turn across 3 lanes of a highway. And it was catastrophic what happened. Three members of a family died when a minivan just collided with the truck as it's taking this U-turn across 3 lanes of traffic. It's stunning. It's wild. And I have some questions for our truck drivers. Is it time to ban all foreign CDLs? Is it time to ban and revoke all non-domicile CDLs? Does California need to be investigated for issuing these CDLs? And I asked the truck drivers, because you guys know better than me. You're out on the roads. You're doing it. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Eric in Jasper. Eric's a veteran. Thanks for your service, Eric. And you've been a truck driver. What are your thoughts on what you saw in Florida over the weekend?
Fire him.
Fire him.
Don't deport him. Put his butt in jail for the rest of his life. You asked a question a little while ago. When did I start saying this? I have been doing this since 1987. I took a 5-year hiatus out of the military, got my CDL. Before we had these truck driving schools, I got grandfathered in. I've been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
I've seen this changing over the past 20 years. As far as these foreign drivers, all you've got to do is look at their trucks. I'm so sick and tired of pulling into a truck stop with a guy with a window unit, AC window unit, in his window of his truck. If it's a piece of crap, if the truck is that bad, it should not be on the road. DOT regulations state that it has to have operational air conditioning and heating if you run with more than 2 people in the vehicle. Another thing, you look at these fools that do not follow our laws. To drive an 18-wheeler, you have to have proper footwear. Sandals are not proper footwear. Socks and sliders are not proper footwear. You got these people that will do this. I'm so sick and tired as far as banning foreign CDLs. I don't know about that, but because I know a lot of good people, a lot of them Sikhs that are coming out of Canada. I'm friends with a lot of them. They follow the regulations. They follow our laws. I was in Laredo, Texas years ago. I drove a flatbed when I first started driving trucks. I was in Laredo, Texas. I watched this guy hit the brakes in a van, and a coil came out of his side of his trailer and landed on a car.
What?
I mean, you cannot. You have to have proper load securement. It's so disheartening for us. We used to be the knights of the road, the highway heroes. Now people look at us and go, God, I hope he doesn't come over on me.
Well, but here's the thing. What I'm noticing from your tone is that you're not shocked by any of this.
No, not shocked.
And it does seem like there's like an air of like we already lost this battle.
No, we haven't lost it. No. We have not lost it. I'm disappointed in a lot of my drivers.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed squarely in the governments as far as federal and state, especially California. Illinois is bad about it. What was it, a few years ago? They were investigated because they sold driver's license. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's been about 10 years ago.
Yep, I recall the story.
New York is bad about it also. And it's really getting to a point where we're losing people left or right because of stupidity.
So
that's all it is.
With your experience in the industry, how would you fix it? How would you go about fixing it? What's your step 1? What's your step 2?
Step one is no illegal aliens, period. I
Yep.
mean, deport them home. No, you cannot have a CDL. You shouldn't even have a driver's license.
Amen. Amen.
You shouldn't even, because there's been a lot of people, with a standard driver's license that have had accidents. There was one here in Nashville recently.
Yep. What's step two?
It's just. Hey, I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you need, Eric?
Either that or Ken. I want you to give Matt a noogie on top of that big old head of his. Tell him there was from Eric from Jasper, Alabama. He knows me. I've been listening to him since he was down there.
Okay.
Him and Ani and all of them. But I mean, he said he hates it when people give him noogies.
All right, perfect.
I want you to give him a big old noogie.
I'm going to write it down, Eric. I appreciate the call. Thanks, man. Let's go to Trevor in Mount Eagle. What's up, Trevor?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. I retired from the Air Force in 15. I drove tractor trailers for the Air Force. And then when I retired, I started driving school buses. So I joined some of these social media groups and for school bus drivers. And I'm being told on some of these groups in states like California, they're giving illegals school bus CDLs and school bus endorsements.
What could go wrong?
You've got these folks driving some of nothing's more precious cargo than style.
Yep. Amen. And it doesn't surprise me that that's what you're hearing coming out of California. I appreciate the call, man. Let's go to Mike in Nashville. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing, brother? Hey, man, it's your man. Hey, that's how I learned from your radio station, because I told you I live in Texas, and I heard you on the radio when I was driving through, and you definitely became you the best 3 hours that I listen to when I'm rolling.
Well, I appreciate you,
I
man.
look forward to you every day. You know that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I
but
appreciate
listen, man, I'm a truck driver, man, and it all started with Joe Biden. Joe Biden's got blood on his hand. Not only on the southern border, with the El Salvadorians that killed innocent college girls and all those people he lived in for those 4 years he was in the White House. He also allowed individuals in the country that were driving trucks too. And these guys that are driving, they don't speak the language. Apparently, this guy he didn't know what a U-turn meant. Maybe because they say he didn't speak English. They already admitted on the TV and the radio that he crossed into the U.S. illegally under the Biden administration.
Yep.
This guy that was driving. And hey, I'm gonna be real serious with you, Chris. If you look at the video real closely, now I don't know this guy's intentions. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but like you said, he damn sure didn't look like he had any remorse whatsoever. The guy that was sitting in the passenger seat, he had a camera. So they have cameras in these trucks now, a driver-facing cam that records everything you do. And they have a camera on this guy. And the guy sitting in the jump seat, the passenger seat, he didn't look too upset about it either. Like I said, they need to investigate this guy and find out if he has any other alternative motives for this. Because, like I said, if I made a U-turn and I saw a car running my trailer, I would be screaming, I would be yelling, and I would be in more of a panic.
Me too. I mean, he
showed no panic whatsoever.
No, he didn't even jump out of the truck. Like, it was crazy. I would have been out of that truck in 5 seconds flat, seeing if there's somebody that I could help. What the hell was that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they need to investigate this guy's background and find out just exactly who he is, because there's a lot of bad people that came into this country over the last 4 years, and they've said this in the past, Chris. I don't know, maybe you can follow up on it. They've said that terrorists have also thought about using tractor trailers, 18-wheelers, as a explosive, place explosives in it and park it in front of buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they need to really investigate this guy who was driving that truck and find out just who the hell he was.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Mike. Stay safe out there on the roads. We're talking about this truck driver in Florida who was an illegal alien, somehow got a CDL license in California. I'm sure it was just a paperwork error. He gets his CDL license in Florida, in California. He drives to Florida. He's in this truck, and he decides to pull a U-turn across the highway. If you're watching on the stream, you're seeing what transpired on those Florida highways. You're seeing a lack of remorse in this illegal alien's face. He doesn't look bothered by what happened at all. And let's be honest, that could have been my family. That could have been your family. People lost their lives. This guy doesn't seem to care. And the Democrats, they're not even going to address this issue. You didn't see this on the mainstream media at all over the weekend. Where you found it was online. Let's go to Wayne in Waverly. What's up, Wayne?
Hey, Chris, enjoy your show.
Thanks, man.
I've been listening quite a while. I've only been in the trucking industry since '08. I've been driving for about 4.5 years, but I'm honestly not surprised. I went to trucking school about 4.5 years ago, and the first thing I noticed is 80% of the students were not U.S. born citizens.
80%?
80%. Wow. And I'm talking about, I went to school right here in Middle Tennessee. I saw a post online this morning on X about this very thing, and they were talking about the ICE setting up at not truck stops, but way stations and that sort of thing. I believe that's a good place to start, but I also believe the DMV is a good place to go.
Yep.
It was well known at the school that if you went to a DMV that's located on the southeast side of Nashville, that they would not ask for proof of citizenship or proof of residency. That was in 21.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think that's a good place, good hot spot for ICE to set up as well.
I'm with you, man. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Hey, I appreciate the insight, Wayne. Stay safe out there, man. Let's go to John, who is driving his own truck currently on I-65. What's up, John?
Yeah. Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. I just want to piggyback on what everybody else was saying. These drivers are hitting it spot on. We have a serious problem on the road. This guy is one of thousands, if not 10,000s, out here putting everybody at risk. It all started under Biden. You cannot tell me any different. I was seeing with my own eyes the bus loads, hundreds of buses with illegals coming out of Texas, taking I-10 north, I-55 north. It is a serious problem. Not only in California, Chicago, the Chicagoland area is full of illegal immigrants driving trucks. The problem also is these schools that are handing out these licenses. It needs to be cracked down. It's going to get worse before the fix comes in. People just need to be aware that there are people driving 80,000-pound missiles on these roads, cannot read, cannot write, have the basic lack of common sense, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
I hear you, man. It's a mess. What would you do to fix it?
What I would do personally is, I mean, the law's already on the books. If you do not have proper documentations, if you cannot prove that you're a citizen, if you can't read the basic of the language, the English language, you should not be behind the wheel of a commercial motor vehicle. Simple as that. The laws are already there, but you have a lot of these liberal states that, have an agenda for some reason, and they're overlooking that fact, and they're just putting American lives in danger. You have greedy business practices with these offshoot schools that are basically giving people the licenses, and it's already been reported that people are buying these licenses.
Yep.
The federal government needs to step in. We are one of the highest regulated industries, but somewhere along the line, and I, again, it was under Biden's watch that authorities started looking the other way. Nobody wanted to say anything because they were afraid of offending feelings.
Yeah, but it feels intentional, doesn't it?
It feels very much intentional. Now with common sense back in office and people are finally waking up and tired of the bull crap, I think we need to take it back to how it was before. And if you do not know the basic language, if you cannot read and write, the English language, you should not be in the CMV. Simple as that. If you
Yep.
cannot prove that you're a citizen, you should not be allowed to even look at a CMV as far as I'm concerned.
I'm with you, John, and I appreciate the call, man. I appreciate all the truckers that we got listening out on the roads. Anecdotally, we are the #1 show for truckers in Middle Tennessee. The evidence supports it, at least anecdotally. No, seriously, though, appreciate you guys calling in, weighing in, and your expertise. One of the best things that we can do here on this radio station is crowdsource information, and I have no problem telling you that I don't know what you truckers go through, and I don't know what it looks like out there at these way stations and rest stops and pickup spots. So your input is invaluable, and I thank you guys for it bigly. It's 11:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. And when it comes to these home repairs, foundation repair, waterproofing, well, we ignore the warning signs. It's just a little water in the basement. That's no big deal. It's just some damp walls. It's just a little standing water in the crawl space. It'll go away. And sure, it'll warm up and it'll dry up. But when the rain comes back, so does the issue. And every time that rain comes back, that problem gets a little bit worse and a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And it's never going to fix itself on its own. What you need to do is call the best, call USS. Call the guys that have helped 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee to make sure that problem doesn't get bigger. Whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, the guys at USS are going to stand behind their work. They're not going to send a sales guy worried about their quota. They're going to send somebody worried about your waterproofing. And then when they leave, they'll leave behind a warranty that is good for life. So if you see the signs, don't wait. Call United Structural Systems today. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. And you can always find them online at USSTN.com.
This is massive. This is Armenia and Azerbaijan. This is nearly 4 decades of fighting in the region. Both leaders of each nation are coming here to the White House.
For more than 35 years, Armenia and Azerbaijan have fought a bitter conflict that resulted in tremendous suffering for both nations. They suffered gravely for so many years. Many tried to find a resolution, including the European Union. The Russians worked very hard on it, never happened. Sleepy Joe Biden tried, but you know what happened there. He tried for probably 12 minutes and didn't work out.
Have you seen this done with any other president, the way he's leveraging the economy and trade?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is 7 peace deals in 7 months, and it's unbelievable. I mean, President Trump is the only guy who can come together and do it. He can do it right.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Are Democrats waking up to the fact that 80-20 issues aren't exactly a good look to defend?
To the average person, the murder rate's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically.
I mean, I think she's right. it is a bit of a trap to root for these 80-20 issues, men and women's sports, boys in girls' locker rooms.
No, that's not 80-20. That's 97-3.
Fair. That's 97-3. But we also have illegal alien gang member MS-13 members Kilmar. Democrats defend him. We've seen Democrats rooting for a recession. All these 80-20 issues, and this is what made the Democrats realize it. How long until they forget again? A few hours, tops. $11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Love those guys. Patriots. Get your water filter system at betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, Chad?
What? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. You have a good weekend?
It was a nice weekend. It's quiet.
Yeah. So you get to be doing the play-by-play when Zelensky arrives at this historic White House meeting.
Yeah.
Is he going to be wearing a suit or not?
I would assume he's wearing a suit. I would assume that because the Euros are going to be there as well later on in the afternoon.
This would mean, though, that he's had a wardrobe change.
It would mean.
He's been spotted in D.C. wearing a black T-shirt already.
Yeah, but just because you're there, like this. I mean, I know he'll have a jacket on. He'll have a jacket, but I mean, I'm assuming he's going to.
Part of me feels like this is like the groundhog with his shadow. If Zelensky shows up without a suit, we're going to have 3 more years of war. And if Zelensky shows up in a suit, I think we could have a peace deal.
We could have a peace. It's possible. Again, this is not as simple as just hand over the stuff. This whole thing is very unique in the way that they've got everything written inside their constitution.
Yeah, but
in the whole 9 yards.
The every member of the country has to vote on it.
Yeah.
That was written by Zelensky.
Yeah, but
so Zelensky put that into the Constitution.
The way they're going to do this is you're occupying our land, and we're going to let you occupy our land. And we'll recognize that you're occupying land, but it's not your land, but you get it. It's basically semantics at this point in time. It's not your land anymore. Like Crimea, you gave it up 12 years ago.
Russia's never going to give any of that back, and Ukraine is never going to wrestle it away from them.
No, they're not.
It's time to make a deal.
Make a deal. Let's make sure they don't get any more and that they drive on further. That's the way it should go.
Yep.
And we all move on with our lives.
We'll see what happens. Chad's in next.